Welcome to our webcast again today. This is the Points of Light Community Forum, and it's such an honor for us to have Union County Sheriff Eddie Cathey as our guest on our broadcast. Welcome, Sheriff.
Well, listen, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. You've always been a part of our support for law enforcement and the community. It's just not supporting us. When you support us, you support the community.
Yes, sir. And we do appreciate your service, and you've been the sheriff now for how long?
This is my 18th year.
18th year.
The 18th, December the 1st.
So now, were you a part of the Sheriff's Department there, or?
No, I wasn't. I was with the North Carolina Highway Patrol for almost 28 years, retired, and got talked into running for sheriff after I retired, and got elected. And I've served, and I've really enjoyed it, and we've made so much progress here. It's unbelievable. We've had really good support through our county commissioners, and all that mounts up and adds up.
Yes, sir. Well, and we appreciate your service and the officers there working for the Sheriff's Department, and I'll tell you, we're in a growing area, so I'm sure the challenges are growing with it, right?
Well, it is a growing area, but we've been able to grow with it. We've been able to catch up. They were way behind when I took over as sheriff, but we've been able to catch up, and our goal is to grow at the same rate that the county does in population. Because if we don't, then we just back behind, crime's worse, and everything goes downhill from there. So, but we've got really good support from our county personnel, our county manager, Mark Watson, and our county commissioners. And we've been able to do that through the years, and it shows now.
Well, this is Union County, your home, is that right? Or?
No, it's not. I'm from Haywood County, a little town in the mountains, a little mill town called Canton, which is the other side of Asheville. And this was my first duty station on the Highway Patrol. And stayed here several years, took some promotions, moved around the state. I married my wife, she was from here. And we have 4 children, and this is my home, and I have no intention of going anywhere.
Amen. Well, I tell you, so you think about children and grandchildren, and so
got grandchildren.
Too.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing like these precious ones coming along, and we think about, that's what we've talked to some others about. The young people are our future. And when you got young people, you have a future.
That's true.
And we want to do everything we can to look out for them and teach them proper values and respect and things like that. And but as far as the Sheriff's Department and some of the challenges you are facing during this time, what are some things we can pray with y'all about or help you with?
Well, we have really had good support from our community. You know as well as I do what all this started out as, and then it just evolved into something that didn't have nothing to do with the actions against George Floyd. But our community has spoke to me, and we've looked at, and they've had some protests about things, but they've been very peaceful, and they've been very supportive of law enforcement. We don't have the anti-law enforcement. We've got people, I'll just say, we got people that's smart enough to realize that they need law enforcement to be safe in their homes.
Yes, sir.
We're very fortunate to live in Union County. Actually, our crime rate has gone down through all this. It's not been all bad. If you listen to the news, it's all bad. If you listen to the public out here, you just can't believe the support in our office, the churches that have brought snack bags and pizzas, and the organizations that have just said, we want to come feed all your officers. And it's been very supportive because they realize that we're part of their community.
Well, and such a vital part in actually putting your lives on the line for our safety. I tell our church every time we gather, we're so thankful for the freedoms that we enjoy as a nation, for those who've gone before us, those who've actually laid it all on the line so we could have the freedoms that we just enjoy day by day, week after week, and then those who are out there serving while we're here meeting. And we're just so grateful and indebted to our public servants.
Well, I have tremendously good people that want to get out here and do a good job for the citizens. You know, as I look at our county, and that's what I'm concerned about, you know, it's not been 2 years ago when they were all wanting to arm the public and put into schools, and civilians with guns and teachers with guns, and the county took steps to put officers in all the schools. And the rest of the country, you hear it on the news now, they're turned. They don't want law enforcement in schools. So, you know, I hate to say it, but at the next school shooting, all that'll change. I mean, it'll bring it all back to reality. There's a place for law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
And you can't survive without it safely. And it's obvious if you look around at what's happening to those places that are so hateful toward law enforcement. And we're just not there. We've got support in all races, all churches. I mean, we just don't have that anti-law enforcement here in our county, and I'm very thankful for that.
Well, and I think a lot of that is attributed to your leadership and others in the county here, and those who have the right heart and right relations with different ones, and we respect that and appreciate it. And it's something that we strive toward and want to encourage people to know in this day, you know, the importance of faith in our lives, the importance of knowing God, because when you know God, you know that everyone has value in the eyes of God. There's no one who is important than anyone else or better than anyone else.
That's true.
We are all made by God, but then we understand as a Christian the gospel of Christ and how he died for the sins of the whole world. And so everyone has value in the eyes of God. And so those who know the Lord, they look at people that way. And I think it's so important. I think about faith and trusting God, and as a sheriff of Union County, what role does faith play in your life?
Well, you obviously know that it does.
Yes, sir.
You know, we do a lot of things. We certainly have a lot of faith. We guide our organization by that faith. We do little things that a lot of organizations don't do, like in God We Trust on the back of the automobiles. I hand sign every officer a Bible. When you're sworn into our agency, we give you that Bible to keep. And I'm going to tell you, it means something to those folks.
Yes, sir.
It means something to those folks. And we have pastors. I have 3 pastors that work in our jail ministry, not specifically the jail ministry, but with our law enforcement ministry, that rides with our officers, talks to them, takes part in their lives. You know, everybody needs somebody to listen to them once in a while. And if that pastor gets in there, he knows that he's there they trust him, he listens. You know that all of us have got problems.
Sure.
I mean, that's just the way life is.
Yes, sir.
And he listens, and he sometimes gives them advice, he counsels them, and it stays there. But we're a big part of the faith-based community in this county, and we do a lot of things, and you've done stuff here for our organization, and I've been here at your church, and we try to reach out because we know those are the people that support not only us, but they support the community.
Well, I think about our officers and their needs, and that's why we do need to pray for them and show proper respect and appreciation to them. They're human just like everyone else.
They're no different.
Yeah, and so to get this narrative that they're not valued or they're less than or even subhuman, well, that's got to be challenged in this hour, and that's got to be spoken directly to for this generation. These are good people putting their lives on the line for our safety, for our security.
Well, it's like any other job that you take out here. You take a 21-year-old and you put him in his uniform and you educate him, train him, and teach him, but that really don't change him from what he was when you hired him. You try to change him positively, but you try to hire good people. You try to hire people that have a little common sense, that can apply it to this job. But they're no better or no worse than anybody out there in any other job. They're the same people.
Right.
They're just different jobs.
Yeah, and just like that, in any job, you've got those who don't perform at the level they should, or they don't have the character to be in that job, and you have to weed those out.
Same people.
Yeah.
It's the same group. We all pull from the same job pool, whether it's pastors, Sunday school teachers, law enforcement, ditch diggers, whatever it is, they all come from the same growing up work pool. And you try to pick the best candidate and do the best job with him and hope he turns out well. And we've been very fortunate.
And I'm sure and at certain levels, if people don't do what they should, then there's an accountability there. And people just being dealt with at the level that they should in that regard.
Well, we have a process that we go through. We investigate every complaint that comes in, regardless of what it is. And we take the appropriate action on whatever it is. And it's cumulative. In other words, we don't have people that's had complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint and just continuously, and we just leave them working. At some point you say, listen, you feel like you might need to find you another job, that you're not suited for this job. And sometimes we have to do that. And but that's part of being the sheriff. Is I, as the sheriff, have the ability to say, today is your last day. And I appreciate your service, but we just don't have a place for you anymore. And I can do that. I don't have to go through all this process, all this boards and all this other stuff that a lot of people, a lot of agencies have to go through.
Well, and I think that's something that it's good for people to understand in that regard, to have not only that opportunity and the responsibility for that, but then to have someone with upstanding moral character and integrity that's going to hold people to a higher standard. Well, that's what we want, and that's what we have in our sheriff here, and I thank you for that, because I want our citizens, as we're trying to encourage people to communicate and to respect and to pray for each other and to engender good faith in our community, and I'm thankful that we can have that assurance and knowing that there is that accountability.
There is that accountability, and there's my accountability to the citizens. I answer to the citizens. I don't have a overseer that tells me what to do. We try to govern the way it should be done, but it's just like being a pastor. If somebody does something wrong in your employment here, you have the ability as a pastor to say, well, you can't do that no more. Or you can say, listen, I've told you 2 or 3 times that's not acceptable, and you're out.
Right.
We're the same way. I don't, we can take care of bad employees, and we do.
And really, I know in our situation, I'm looking out for the whole.
That's right.
And yes, I love individuals. I try to work with them and go with them as far as I can go.
That's right.
But there's a point to where you say, well, hey, this is as far as we can go because I'm charged with looking out for the good of the whole. And maybe that's not something that everybody understands or would even appreciate or know certain specifics about, but you have to know in your heart you're accountable to God and you are accountable to people and others that you serve so that they can understand that, hey, I'm doing as best as I can in the best interest of the whole to properly safeguard our well-being.
Well, and we take the same approach. We look at it as our agency is our family. Now, if one of our family gets in just a little trouble, we can counsel him, we can talk to him or her, we can say, you can't do that again. But then if that same issue comes again, then that's a whole different ball game, and sometimes we just got to say, you're out. And we do that, but not as much as we people think. We don't. I'm very loyal to my people, I can tell you that. And I look at it and say, can you? Is this an occurring thing that happens? And then sometimes you run into one that just runs off the edge one time, and that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that. I really do. And I want people to understand that this is something that when it comes to managing people, that, people with the proper character and commitment and understanding of that, those are people you want serving in those capacities. And those that you select to serve with you. Maybe those will step up and go with you as you lead it forward. Maybe others won't, but that's a part of the process oftentimes.
Well, I use this in my hiring process. I try to hire people that are smarter than I am. And I found that works pretty good.
Yes.
I'm not, I don't think I'm the smartest person, but I try to hire the smartest person.
That's good.
And, we're humans just like anybody else, and everybody makes mistakes. But you have to rate that and move on. And it is family. I mean, but I'll tell you a good example is if you talk to people, other agencies, not just in our county, but any agency that you want to talk to, and the first thing they'll tell you is, we can't get help. And I'll tell you that we're full. We don't have any openings. And that speaks highly of the process that we go through to hire people and the loyalty that they have to our agency and to this community. See, I think they're as loyal to the community as they are to the agency, and that's important.
Yes, sir. And just to have a good, healthy culture there is something that I want citizens of our county to understand and appreciate.
Yeah.
And I just wanted you to know that we appreciate you, and we're praying for you, praying for your family, and praying for the sheriff's deputies there and those who serve and their families as well. What's a parting word you'd like to say to our residents here in Union County?
Well, I would say this. Be proud of our county. And let's stand up and do the things that we know are right. We can't do it by ourselves, as you've seen across the nation. But we can do what the public wants to do. We're a very strong organization, but our community is strong. And when we stand together, then we'll be successful.
Amen. Well, thank you again. I appreciate you being on our broadcast
Pastor,
today.
I'm just proud to be here.
Well,
Good church.
We're thankful to have you as our sheriff, and we're just praying that God would bless you all and set a hedge of protection about you and give you wisdom. And we appreciate those who are watching this webcast today and praying for our sheriff. And we're just asking God to just continue to raise up people to serve in different in our community in different capacities, and to be salt and light and to make a positive difference. And so thank you for watching today.
Thank you.
Until next time, this is Tim Cruse saying, remember, always let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. God bless you.